Hello. Our cognac lectures should have illuminated the flexibility available within the seemingly restrictive cognac regulations. Despite almost becoming one entity through marriage many years ago, these are two of our cognac titans, Hennessy and Martell, and they are great examples of this. While both do adhere to the strict regulations of cognac production, their individual philosophies and techniques yield distinctly different spirits. Join us as we explore a couple of entry-level cognacs, as well as some of their higher-end offerings. Let's go. Now, if you're expecting some kind of smackdown competition or for us to tell you which is better, you've come to the wrong place. The deeper any of us dive into our spirits education, the more clear it becomes that the lovely variations in production and spirit styles are not to be judged, but rather to be explored and appreciated despite one's own personal likes and dislikes. So for these two cognac houses, the primary points of divergence between Hennessy and Martell lie in their grape sourcing, distillation methods, maturation protocols, and these produce the resulting flavor profiles of each of these signature expressions. Hennessy, a global leader and the largest producer of cognac, is celebrated for its distinctive, bold, robust, and fruit-forward, powerful style. This characteristic profile is meticulously cultivated through a strategic approach to grape sourcing, primarily from the four principal crus, those are growth areas, within the cognac region, our Grand Champagne, Petit Champagne, Borderies, and Fin Bois. Each of these crus contribute unique aromatic and structural qualities to the final blend, ensuring their desired complexity and balance. The distillation process employed by Hennessy is also crucial to its signature taste. Typically, but not exclusively, it involves the use of lees, those spent yeast cells that remain after fermentation. The presence of these lees during distillation, especially with direct heat, imparts a richer, more textural, and ultimately more complex character to the eau de vie. And this method, while more challenging to manage, is a hallmark of Hennessy's commitment to depth of flavor. Furthermore, the aging regimen plays a pivotal role in shaping Hennessy's renowned profile. The eau de vie is matured in new Limousin oak barrels, which are known for their wide grain and high tannin content. This specific type of wood contributes strong vanilla, toasted wood, and spicy notes, which integrate seamlessly with the fruit and lees-derived characteristics, culminating in the bold but still intricate flavor that define Hennessy cognac. In somewhat stark contrast, Martell, the oldest of the great cognac houses, champions a style characterized by elegance, subtlety, and a distinct floral and fruity, delicate tone. Martell's singular character is profoundly shaped by its judicious and focused use of the Borderies cru. This smallest of the cognac crus is renowned for its distinctive chalky soil, which imparts a signature floral and somewhat nutty aroma to the eau de vie. Unlike other houses that blend extensively across various crus, Martell champions the Borderies, allowing its unique characteristics to truly shine and form the backbone of their cognacs. This regional allegiance is a cornerstone of Martell's stylistic signature, contributing to a lighter, more delicate spirit. Further differentiating Martell is its distinct distillation method. The house traditionally distills its wines with significantly less lees, those spent yeast cells and other sediment, than many of its counterparts. This deliberate choice results in a purer, cleaner spirit, less impacted by the heavier, more robust flavors that prolonged contact with lees can impart. This meticulous attention to the distillation process further refines the delicate profile that Martell seeks to achieve, allowing the inherent elegance of the Borderies eau de vie to emerge unhindered. Martell's preference for fine-grained Tronçais oak barrels plays a crucial role in its unique maturation process. Tronçais oak, sourced from the ancient forests of central France, is celebrated for its tight grain and subtle aromatic contributions. These barrels impart less aggressive tannins and more refined notes of vanilla, spices, and dried fruit, allowing the intrinsic character of the cognac to develop gently over time without being overpowered by the wood. This contrasts sharply with houses that might favor more porous, whiter grain oaks, which can impart a more pronounced, robust oak influence. So let's taste the VS from both of these houses side by side. The Martell VS has about 10 grams per liter added sugar, is a complex blend of about 20 to 30 different eau de vies. The Hennessy VS is actually the world's best-selling cognac. This is a blend of approximately 40 different eau de vies. The exact age of the component brandies is a secret, but despite the legal minimum for a VS cognac being 2 years, we understand the eau de vie in the Hennessy VS blend typically ranges from 2 to 8 years of age. Okay, we are not using a brandy snifter here, but we're keeping our evaluation glassware consistent across all of our categories, so we'll be doing the Glencairns here. All right, the Hennessy VS. We have a clear, medium amber appearance here. Remember, with cognacs, our colors are able to be adjusted prior to bottling to mostly ensure consistency and allow for a clear color shift as we bottle our older versions. We wouldn't want our VS to be darker than our XOs. Aroma-wise, it's pretty bold and aromatic. On our WSET scale, we're clearly into a medium plus intensity rather than medium, with some raw material notes of date, fig, pear, violet. There's also some esters of citrus peel and apple there as well. And certainly not an afterthought, we do see some pretty prominent wood character, quite a bit of spicy cedar, vanilla, clove, toasted bread. There's also this very light, clean leather showing. I'll take a taste now. Our intensity on the palate is similar to the nose, if not a touch lighter into medium. There's just a touch of sweetness that just rounds things out, and noticeably just at the tip of the tongue. Clearly an off-dry category. All of our aromas are still here, but the palate brings just the softest tobacco, walnut, and a very faint wood polish. There's a slight tannic dryness that comes in during a kind of a medium length finish, but there's still a lot in play during the finish, certainly some complexity as far as a mark. All the aromas and flavors seem pretty well harmonized here. There's nothing out of balance. The texture starts silky, almost creamy, as that alcoholic warmth takes a moment to present itself. The heat almost approaches slightly prickly before softening back into that silky character. That tannic dryness eventually kind of pushes that silkiness away. That silky feel or light to not quite oily viscosity plays a nice supporting role to those oak and fruit notes. The entire shape is mostly round except for that brief angular heat. And while the component balance is quite well done, the feel or texture is just a little clunky when that heat jumps in. We do have a decent number of aromatic influences from the raw materials, processing, and then just a touch of maturation notes. But being a VS, we really can't expect too many, and it's nice to see those that we do. It certainly shows itself as a cognac with those date, raisin, and floral notes balanced with the oak aromas and just that slight tannic touch. It's not remarkably complex, and the finish could go longer, but we can easily note this as a very good spirit. Over to our Martell VS now. just a slightly lighter color, just into medium, and a little more towards gold, but still amber for the most part here. Our aromas here are certainly lighter in intensity. We definitely have to have a closer sniff to be able to get it to express itself. We'd go medium here. Has a really dominant, fresh, bright floral blossom and elderflower character with a little bright lemon and then some sultana. Just the faintest lilac, pear, and then some soft vanilla, toasted bread, and a little cinnamon. There's also just a hint of clove and nutmeg. The palate shows more of that vanilla and sweet floral notes, but there's some pear and apple as well, but brighter or fresh or just ripe fruit. And then again, some lemon zest. The texture is soft and silky. Gentle warmth builds and then slowly fades. It feels light on the palate with only the faintest dryness here to finish. Just that light touch of added sweetness gives it certainly off dry character. The finish isn't long, certainly maybe medium minus, but the lighter, say medium minus flavor intensity matches it. There's nothing out of place. It has such a light, bright character that kind of edges to linear, but that's without being a detriment. There's some complexity, but of the raw materials and esters and vanilla without maturation or really any aging notes. Those clean, bright aromas just float along with the gentle, subtle glow of alcohol and a really lovely balance. Sort of a string quartet rather than an orchestra. It does have all the expected components of cognac, especially a younger one with a clarity or brightness about it that is just really expressive. There's no hard edges to this cognac. I mean, we might have wanted some more depth or earthiness, but it's hard to critique this lighter style. Easily designated as a very good spirit. So what have these two shown us side by side? No one can argue that these are the same cognac, unless you're drinking them with Coke or something. And despite our direct heated alembic Charente stills and only 2 distillations allowed, Martell's likely running of Qs or Group 3s back to the Premier Chef, those cleaner wine inputs, and the milder Tronçais oak, contrasted with Hennessy's bolder eau de vie and more prominent oak, are really clearly illustrated. I certainly believe that you could mix these up in a blind and they just pretty much shout who they are just on the nose. And then that is easily reinforced on the palate. And I'll tell you, we educators love having easily available cognacs that speak so clearly of their production. Which is better? That's up to you. And I might say that would maybe depend on the season. The Martell on a warm summer late afternoon would be hard to beat. Hennessy on, say, a fall evening might also be pretty hard to beat. Okay, let's go on to our XOs now. Okay, now on to our XOs. Our Hennessy XO has about 10 grams per liter added sugar. Supposedly is an assemblage of over 100 different eau de vie that are really designed to showcase the incredible depth of their cellars and the skill of their master blender. The components of the Hennessy XO are aged for a minimum of 10 years, with some being as old as 30 to apparently 70 years old. Some sources indicate the average age is about 45 years, and this does give us the opportunity for some pretty profound depth and the development of some of those mature rancio notes. Their self-stated stylistic goal is to produce a rich, full-bodied, and complex cognac that is both powerful and well-rounded. The house style often involves the use of some new oak barrels, which will impart a distinctly spicy and structured character. Our Martell over here, XO, has 11 grams per liter added, and it's a pretty distinctive blend with a significant portion of eau de vie from the Borderies, which imparts a signature floral and smooth character. This is supposed to be balanced by the power, structure, and long finish provided by eau de vie from Grand Champagne. Now the blend for Martell XO is composed of eau de vie with an average age of 15 to 35 years. And this extended aging contributes to its complexity and mellow character. Now, the legal minimum for an XO is 10 years. Their stated stylistic goal is to create a cognac that is both powerful and elegant, with a smooth, fruity profile that's characteristic of the Martell style. We'll see if they accomplish that. Let's visit the Martell XO first this time. It's got a deeper amber appearance. Medium intensity, and we do have to come a little closer for those aromas to really present themselves. We immediately get an earthy, leather, sweet smoke set alongside some chocolate, fig, pineapple, and very ample raisiny character. There's some fruitcake and cigars in a cedar box with light vanilla, cinnamon, nutmeg. And floating above them is this floral component, like lilacs and roses had a child together. The depth and complexity of character is far more than expected with that medium intensity. Let's go on to the palate now. It hits oily and soft, but then quickly warms to mouth-filling. That touch of added sweetness being off dry helps it really coat your mouth. It's really like a veritable explosion of flavors with those previously mentioned aromas, but now also a spicy coriander and nutmeg. The intensity here on the palate is somewhat pronounced compared to those more subtle aromas. And we get some of the rancio notes of polish and tobacco, prune, a little worn leather, walnut, and just the slightest tannic tightness through the finish. That alcohol just kind of glows brightly and matches up against the mouth coating viscosity through a long finish, very long finish, and still very complex. Somehow in the middle of all those rancio notes, a little bright lemon, sultana, and apricot kind of slide in there as well. The whole shape of the spirit is very full and round. It doesn't have any component out of whack. How that softness and the warmth play together is really quite impressive. This is an outstanding spirit and brings all the potential cognac ingredients and aging character front and center, without really any single component overwhelming another. Now on to our Hennessy XO. This also shows a deep amber. Whoa. On the nose, it's just jumping out of the glass. It's a spicy raisin, vanilla, prune smoke here at the medium plus to pronounced. Yeah, pronounced, it's still down here. It seems to be saying, get ready. Here are more fruits, candied plum, apricot, atop a foundation of like spicy vanilla and powerful cedar. And there's some rancio polish notes and like cinnamon rubbed on old leather. And the palate brings a powerful punch of flavors. Almost an aggressive warmth if it wasn't for those matching vanilla and spicy orange peel. Kind of roasted apple and pear, dark chocolate, and a little cedar tannic character. Those clearly present tannins somehow don't manage to dry your mouth out too quickly. And there's a soft, sweet lilac, orange, and coriander spice that ride along through a long and very complex finish. While still round in shape, it's very robust, and that warmth approaches a sharpness. The rancio character, though, really shines, and that earthiness and spice make a good attempt at mitigating that aggressive warmth. But even with that small detriment, this is an outstanding spirit. Interestingly, the XOs from Martell and Hennessy show slightly less clear contrasts than those VS did. The extended aging and rancio notes are both solid foundations of both spirits, yet our robust alcoholic warmth and powerful oak and more aggressive, intense aromatic and palate character makes the Hennessy pretty true to its expected form. And the Martell manages to retain its brighter, lighter, and cleaner character with it through all those years, while also balancing it with that increased oak and more gentle rancio notes. Certainly what they wanted, an XO that exudes finesse and elegance. Which one of these are we taking to a deserted island? Well, it's hard not to take a couple cases of each. But in the meantime, for us educators and students of cognac, we have two truly distinct and compelling choices in the world of fine cognac. Choices that clearly illustrate the wonderful stylistic flexibility that's available within the seemingly strict regulations of cognac. Enjoy.